As we move through life and gather more years, we start to think more deeply about where we belong, where we feel at peace, and who we want around us in the time ahead. It's one of those questions that settles quietly in the back of the mind for a long time, and then suddenly it demands our attention. Who should we live with in our later years? As our bodies slow down and our routines change, the answer isn't as simple as it may have once seemed. Some people imagine living close to their children or grandchildren, finding comfort in family gatherings. Others prefer the independence of their own space, where they can still choose their daily rhythms without worrying about intruding on anyone. And then there are those who find a sense of belonging among peers in active senior communities or professional care facilities. In today's world, the possibilities are far more varied than the traditional path many of us grew up with, and choosing the right one takes open reflection. For generations, families tended to stay together. Many of us grew up in homes where grandparents, parents, and children shared the same roof, or at least the same neighborhood. The expectation was natural. When parents grew older, the children would step in to help, and everyone supported one another as best they could. But American life has changed in ways we couldn't have imagined back then. Children move across the country for work, families juggle demanding schedules, technology has changed how people communicate, and everyone's lifestyle looks very different from what it used to be. Senior years now stretch longer too, and the desire for independence is stronger than ever. Older adults today often want to make their own choices, maintain their own homes, and keep a sense of control over everyday life. At the same time, many still crave closeness, companionship, and a feeling of being rooted. This creates a complicated mix of emotions. On one hand, we want to be connected. On the other, we want to protect our freedom. That's why thinking about living arrangements in old age isn't a matter of following tradition or doing what others expect. It's about understanding how we truly want to live, what makes us feel safe, and where our hearts feel the lightest. It's about recognizing that the best choice is the one that supports our well-being, our dignity, and the relationships that matter most. Let's begin with the option most people picture first, living with family. There is something comforting about imagining a home filled with the sounds of life, grandchildren laughing, relatives coming and going, and the familiar warmth of being around those who share your history. Living with family can create a sense of purpose. Some older adults feel more energized when they have people to care for, whether it's helping cook a meal, sharing stories over coffee, or being part of daily household chatter. Many families genuinely enjoy the closeness. Parents feel reassured knowing that help is nearby if something happens, while adult children feel grateful for extra support with the home and the kids. It can be a beautiful exchange, one where everyone benefits. But every household is its own world, and even the most loving family can experience friction when different generations share the same space. Modern life moves at a fast pace. Adult children often work long hours, and their routines don't always match the habits or expectations of their parents. Noise levels, sleeping schedules, eating preferences, social visits, or even how the household is organized can become points of tension. Older adults might feel that their needs are being overlooked, while younger family members may feel overwhelmed trying to balance work, parenting, and caregiving all at once. It's not that anyone means harm, it's simply that 3 or 4 generations living under one roof must blend different lifestyles, different ideas about privacy, and different understandings of boundaries. Even the warmest relationship can be tested when people's daily habits clash. A parent might want more conversation, more shared meals, or more involvement with the household, while the younger couple might be accustomed to eating on the go or spending evenings unwinding on their devices. And for many elders, giving up control of the household can feel like losing part of their identity. There are also emotional dynamics that linger quietly beneath the surface. Parents may still see their adult children through the lens of old roles, wanting to offer advice or step in when they see something they do differently. But adult children are grown now, managing their own responsibilities in their own way. This can create moments of misunderstanding. A mother might think she's helping by offering suggestions, while her daughter-in-law might feel criticized or watched too closely. A father might feel ignored if his son doesn't have time for a long conversation after work. Small things begin to pile up, and if no one is communicating openly, resentment can develop without anyone ever intending it. This doesn't mean living with family is a bad choice. For many households, it works beautifully. There are families who thrive in multi-generational homes, creating joyful routines, sharing responsibilities naturally, and adapting gracefully to each other's needs. These families tend to have strong communication, mutual respect, and a willingness to compromise. They find ways to balance modern life with timeless connection. They treat each other's space with care, acknowledging that everyone deserves privacy and autonomy. And because of that, their shared home becomes a source of stability, laughter, and comfort. Yet many older adults recognize that they prefer a different path. They may love their children deeply but still want to maintain a place of their own, somewhere they can wake up slowly, enjoy a quiet morning, manage their day without interruptions, and rest whenever they choose. Some seniors find that living close to their children, but not with them, creates the best of both worlds. They can visit often, spend meaningful time together, and provide mutual support without feeling like they're crowding each other's routines. When family lives within a short driving distance, it's easy to check in, share meals, celebrate holidays, and help out when someone needs an extra hand. But at the end of the day, everyone returns to their own space, free to live as independently or quietly as they wish. Living independently also allows older adults to remain connected to their friends, neighborhoods, and communities. Many people spend decades building relationships with neighbors or participating in local activities, things that give their days structure and meaning. Moving away from that environment can feel like losing a piece of themselves. Staying in familiar surroundings can provide emotional grounding, especially during life changes. Whether it's going to the same grocery store, chatting with longtime friends, or relaxing on a porch you've known for years, these little comforts matter more than most people realize. Still, maintaining a home isn't easy for everyone. Health issues, mobility challenges, or simply the upkeep of a house can become overwhelming. That's why many older adults consider moving into active senior communities or assisted living facilities as they age. These communities have grown more popular in recent decades because they offer something that's often missing in traditional living arrangements: consistent social interaction with people who are in a similar stage of life. For many seniors, living among peers brings a sense of belonging that even family members can't always provide. When everyone around you understands what it means to navigate aging, the joys, the struggles, the fears, the humor, it creates an emotional connection that feels natural and comforting. These communities are designed with accessibility and safety in mind, reducing worries about stairs, slippery floors, or household maintenance. They also offer shared activities, exercise programs, group outings, and dining spaces that encourage friendships to form effortlessly. Some facilities even provide wellness programs or on-site medical staff to help residents stay healthy and active. What's unique about these communities is that they give the elderly a chance to reinvent their routines. Instead of feeling isolated or dependent, many people feel more energized when they have access to recreational activities and social spaces. They discover hobbies they never had time for before. They join clubs, explore crafts, attend events, or simply enjoy conversations with people who make them laugh. For many, this stage becomes one of the most enjoyable chapters of their lives. Families, too, often express relief knowing their loved ones are surrounded by support rather than spending long days alone. Instead of feeling burdened by caregiving duties, they can focus more on quality time, sharing meaningful visits rather than stressful ones. And then there are full-service nursing homes. These facilities sometimes carry a heavy emotional stigma because people imagine them as places where independence fades away completely. But for individuals with complex medical needs, chronic illnesses, or mobility issues, nursing homes can offer essential professional care that families simply aren't trained to provide. These facilities ensure safety, routine medication management, physical therapy, and round-the-clock assistance. They prevent accidents, monitor health closely, and provide structured support for people who may not be able to navigate daily life alone. Families often wrestle with guilt when considering this option, but it's important to remember that choosing professional care can be an act of profound love. It means ensuring dignity, comfort, and proper medical attention rather than risking harm or exhaustion at home. All of these options, living with family, living independently nearby, joining a senior community, or receiving professional care, reflect the diversity of aging experiences in today's world. None of them are right or wrong. What matters is how each arrangement supports the well-being of the people involved. And as we explore these decisions more deeply, the picture becomes clearer. Aging isn't just about where we live. It's about how we want to feel, what kind of life we want to lead, and how we can maintain a sense of joy, purpose, and connection. As we reflect on all these possibilities, we begin to realize that the real question isn't simply about choosing a living arrangement. It's about choosing a life that feels meaningful, peaceful, and aligned with our deepest values. Aging brings with it a new kind of awareness. We start to notice what gives us energy and what drains it, what brings comfort and what creates stress. That awareness helps us shape our surroundings in a way that genuinely supports our well-being. And as we navigate these choices, it's important to remember that the ultimate goal is to protect not only our physical health but also our emotional and spiritual balance. One of the most important parts of this entire conversation is communication. Honest, gentle, respectful communication among family members. Many parents hesitate to express their true preferences because they don't want to burden their children or make them feel guilty. At the same time, many adult children avoid asking their parents what they want because they're afraid of sounding insensitive or because they assume their parents expect a certain arrangement. This silence can create more tension than clarity. When everyone is guessing, no one feels fully understood. Open conversations can bring relief to everyone involved. When parents share their honest feelings, children gain the opportunity to support their wishes rather than trying to interpret them. When children express their worries or limitations, parents gain a clearer picture of what is realistically possible. These conversations aren't always easy, but they prevent misunderstandings and help families work together rather than pulling in separate directions. When both sides speak from a place of love, even difficult topics become easier to navigate. In many families, the turning point arrives when someone finally says what everyone has been thinking but not saying, that love doesn't require living in the same house, and physical distance doesn't diminish care. Some parents express the desire to remain independent as long as possible. Others admit they feel lonely and would prefer living closer to family. Some adult children realize they simply can't provide daily caregiving while balancing jobs and raising kids. These truths are not signs of weakness, they're signs of honesty, and honesty allows families to make thoughtful, compassionate decisions. It's also important to acknowledge that aging is not a single moment, it's a process. What feels right at age 65 may feel different at 75 or 85. Preferences can change as health needs evolve, as family dynamics shift, or as emotional needs deepen. That's why flexibility is so valuable. Instead of locking ourselves into a single plan, we can choose a path that fits our life today while remaining open to adjustments in the future. Some people begin by living independently, then later move to a senior community, and eventually transition to assisted living when necessary. Others start by living with family and later decide they want more independence or a quieter environment. There's no shame in changing course. It simply reflects the natural flow of life. The heart of the matter is this: the right living arrangement is the one that brings peace, not pressure. It's the one that allows us to wake up with a light mind, go through the day with dignity, and rest at night knowing we're supported. It's the one that helps us maintain meaningful relationships without sacrificing our own needs or the needs of our loved ones. Sometimes that means sharing a household with family. Sometimes it means living 2 streets away. Sometimes it means choosing a community of peers or a home with professional care. What matters is how we feel on the inside. When thinking about where to live in old age, it helps to reflect on a few guiding ideas. One is personal comfort. What environment makes you feel the most like yourself? Some people thrive in a busy, lively household filled with voices and movement. Others feel calmer in a peaceful space where they can read, sip tea, or take quiet walks. Another idea is the balance between independence and safety. Some seniors feel confident managing daily tasks on their own, while others feel more secure living where help is readily available. Emotional well-being is also essential. For many people, loneliness is one of the hardest challenges of aging, and being in a community of peers provides the companionship they need. For others, solitude is nurturing, and having a private space to relax is what brings them the most happiness. Family relationships play a role as well. Some families communicate easily, adapt well, and share responsibilities without conflict. Others struggle to maintain harmony when living together, even if they care deeply for one another. Understanding the nature of your family dynamic is crucial, because the goal is not to force an arrangement that creates stress but to choose one that strengthens your connections and makes everyone feel respected. Finances are another aspect people must consider. Different living arrangements come with different costs, whether it's maintaining a house, paying for in-home assistance, joining a senior community, or living in an assisted care facility. The good news is that there are many options today, from budget-friendly communities to more comprehensive retirement centers. Planning ahead, financially and emotionally, reduces stress and helps ensure that your later years are spent enjoying life rather than worrying about logistics. As these ideas come together, a theme begins to emerge. The question of who to live with in old age is not just about location. It's about creating a lifestyle that supports health, happiness, and dignity. It's about acknowledging the natural changes that come with time while still embracing the possibility of growth, connection, and joy. Aging doesn't mean life becomes smaller. In many ways, it becomes more focused, more intentional, and more deeply felt. Many people find that the most comforting approach is one rooted in self-awareness. They ask themselves what truly matters. Is it being near family? Is it being part of a community? Is it maintaining independence? Is it having access to medical care? Is it preserving friendships and routines? Each person's answer is different, and that uniqueness is what makes this decision so personal. No matter where we choose to live, one thing remains constant: the need for companionship. Human beings are wired for connection. Even the most independent individuals need emotional support, shared moments, laughter, and someone who listens. Whether that connection comes from family, friends, neighbors, or fellow residents in a senior community, it plays a powerful role in shaping our quality of life. That's why so many older adults thrive when they find a living arrangement that allows for both independence and social engagement. And as we think about companionship, we also think about purpose. One of the fears people carry into old age is the fear of fading into the background, of feeling useless or forgotten. But purpose doesn't come from grand achievements. It comes from everyday moments that make life meaningful. Sharing a story with a grandchild, helping a friend in a senior community, tending a small garden, joining a club, volunteering, cooking a family recipe, or even starting a new hobby, these small acts create a sense of identity and joy. The right living arrangement is one that allows these moments to continue unfolding. Another essential part of choosing where to live is considering the emotional load carried by family members. Many adult children want to care for their parents but are stretched thin by their own responsibilities. Some feel guilty when they can't offer full-time support, and some parents feel guilty accepting help. But guilt has no place in caregiving. Families thrive when decisions are made with clear understanding, compassion, and mutual respect. A living arrangement should support family relationships, not strain them. Sometimes the healthiest choice is the one that gives everyone space to breathe, rest, and show love in ways that feel sustainable. As the years go by, the best decisions are those rooted in love, not the pressured kind of love that demands sacrifice at all costs, but the gentle kind that honors everyone's boundaries and well-being. Love is not measured by how many hours a day someone is physically present. Love is measured by the care we offer, the respect we show, and the willingness to create an environment where everyone can flourish. When families choose living arrangements thoughtfully, they often discover that their relationships become even more meaningful. Visits feel warmer, conversations feel more relaxed, and time together becomes something to treasure rather than something overshadowed by stress. Eventually, we begin to see that the question of where to live in old age is not actually about the place itself. It's about where we feel at home. Home is not defined by walls or a particular address. Home is where we feel safe, understood, and connected. Home is where our spirit can rest. Some people find that home in the familiar rooms they've lived in for decades. Others find it in a smaller apartment close to their children. Still others discover it in a vibrant senior community, surrounded by people who share their stage of life. And some find it in the comforting structure of assisted care, where they can finally let go of worry and focus on simply living. Whatever path we choose, the goal remains constant: to create a life that nurtures our well-being, protects our peace, and honors the journey we've taken to get here. Aging is not a problem to solve. It is a phase of life to embrace. With the right environment, this phase can be filled with clarity, connection, and contentment. It can be a time when wisdom deepens, relationships strengthen, and the heart finds a gentle rhythm of its own. As we move forward, it's helpful to remember that we have more choices than ever before. We are not confined by outdated expectations or limited possibilities. We can shape our later years with intention, courage, and openness. And when we make decisions grounded in truth, our truth, we create a future that feels not only safe but meaningful. In the end, the answer to who we should live with in old age is simple and profound. We should live with the people, or in the place, that supports our happiness and honors our spirit. We should live where we feel respected, where we feel seen, and where we feel free to be ourselves. That may be with family, it may be in our own home, or it may be in a community of peers. What matters most is that the choice reflects our heart and gives us the space to age with dignity, joy, and peace. May the years ahead be filled with comfort, warmth, and moments that remind you of how much beauty still lies ahead. Wherever you choose to live, may it be a place where your days feel gentle, your relationships feel nourishing, and your heart feels at home.